Lokoja Highway, Kogi State, in connection with the seizure of 2 kilograms methamphetamine recovered during a search of their vehicle coming from Onitsha, Anambra State, to Mina, Niger State. In Abia State, NDLEA officers on Monday, 14th July, raided the base of a notorious drug dealer, Nduka Obi, at number 4 Niger Street, Ugwa Road, Aba, where various quantities of tramadol, cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and a total of 736,000 naira monetary exhibits were recovered from him. While a total of 45,000 pills of tramadol were seized from a suspect, Chisom Opaleke, by NDLEA operatives on patrol along Onitsha-Enugu Expressway, Enugu State, on Wednesday, 16th July. Officers of the Taraba State Command of the agency same day apprehended the duo of Ngwokoka Thomas and Mohammed Audu with 10,000 caps of tramadol and a gram of cannabis at Dan Anacha, Gasol local government area. While commending the officers and men of Murtala Muhammad International Airport, MMIA, Special Operations Units, Lagos, Kaduna, Oshun, Bayelsa, Gombe, Borno, Abia, Kogi, Enugu, and Taraba commands of the agency for the arrest and seizures of the past week, Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, also praised their counterparts in all the commands across the country for intensifying a fair balance between their drug supply reduction and drug demand reduction efforts. That is it on arrest and seizures. Next is the update on some of the weather activities across the country for the week, brought to you by my colleague, Peace.
Thank you, Netta. My name is Peace the Pastor, and here are some of the weather activities across the country for the week. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, is resolutely committed to securing the nation's future against drug abuse through its transformative War Against Drug Abuse Weather Initiative. Far more than a reactive measure, weather stands as a bold, proactive movement that ignites collective action across the country. From schools and markets to motor parks and places of worship, this dynamic advocacy effort is actively engaging Nigerians at the grassroots level, spreading critical awareness and promoting effective preventive strategies where they are needed most. Through community mobilization and a strong sense of shared responsibility, the NDLEA is driving a national initiative to establish a stronger, safer, and drug-free Nigeria. In line with this, on Wednesday, 16 July 2025, the Kano State Strategic Command of NDLEA delivered a weather sensitization lecture to students and staff of Madarasatu Tahafisu Quran wa Lumuddin in Jaba Fage, Kano. The session highlighted the dangers of illicit drug use and encouraged students to adopt a lifestyle anchored and discipline, religious values, and social responsibility. Similarly, the Anambra State Command extended its enlightenment effort to Government Technical College, Umpo, where students and staff were sensitized on the consequences of substance abuse and the importance of being agents of positive change within their schools and communities. Intensifying its advocacy drive in the Northwest, the Jigawa State Command organized a WADA advocacy lecture for students and staff of Fatima Mefulani Orphanage, Hadeja. The engagement emphasized the need for care-based interventions and reinforced the message that everyone, regardless of background, has a role to play in building a drug-free future. Meanwhile, the Niger State Command delivered a WADA enlightenment lecture to students and staff of Government Day Secondary School, Badegi. The session stressed the critical role of education and personal decision-making in resisting peer pressure and cultivating a culture of abstinence from drugs. On Thursday, 17th July, the Enugu State Command of NDLEA continued its advocacy efforts by taking the WADA enlightenment message to Icon Academy, Nsukka. Students and staff were educated on the health, legal, and social implications of drug abuse, with a strong call to champion the WADA ideals within their academic environment. Capping the week's activities, the Zone 2 Command of NDLEA conducted a WADA advocacy lecture at DA Model Academy in Ngurure. The session engaged participants on the importance of early intervention, community involvement, and the need for sustained awareness in preventing drug abuse among youth. That's the update for this week. My name is Peace, and I hand you over to our host, Mr. Femi Babafemi.
All right, thank you very much, Peace and Netta there. Welcome back from the News Highlights segment. Now let's remind ourselves about our rules on this platform. Please note that when you are granted the permission to be on the speaker's table, please ensure that you remove themselves, make their contributions, or ask. That's the only time you are allowed to unmute yourself. Otherwise, if we notice interference or any interruption coming from you, we may have to remove you from the speaker's corner. So please remain guided so that we can continue to enjoy the conversation, and then the whole thing will go smoothly and we can understand and hear one another clearly. Before we get to introduce our guest speaker today, let me also tell you or remind you about the NDLEA's call center. That's an initiative or a platform that has been created by the leadership of the agency to provide psychosocial support services to those who may be struggling with substance abuse, their family members or their friends, and they don't actually know how to go about it, or they're afraid because afraid of being judged, or the fear of stigmatization is not allowing them to go out and seek for help. All you need to do, wherever you may be in any part of the country, is to dial our toll-free helpline 0800 10203040. The number again is a toll-free helpline. You are not paying for the call. The bill is on us. The number is a 12-digit line, 0800 10203040. That's all you need to do, and then you have our experts on the other side of the call that is talking about our counselors, our clinical psychologists, our psychotherapists, and indeed psychiatric doctors who work 24/7 every day of the week at the center. They will be glad to speak with you, and perhaps you can speak English or Pidgin. If you can speak any of the three major Nigerian languages, you can rest assured that they'll be able to attend to you on any of those languages. That is talking of Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo. That is another bold step to further deepen the services or the availability of these services to those at the communities and at the grassroots level who may not be able to speak English or Pidgin. Now that is that, let's get to the nitty gritty. We have somebody that's well known and popular on this platform because he's always available to provide support to join in the whole effort. He is also a frontline person in this regard, and that is Dr. Abdullahi Abdul Wahab Yakubu. Dr. Abdullahi is a psychiatrist with over 14 years in clinical practice, medical education, and healthcare management. He obtained a Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, that is the MBBS, Masters in Disaster Management and Development Studies, another Master's degree in International Affairs and Diplomacy, and yet another Master's degree in Public Health, all from the Ahmadu Bello University, Ahmadu Bello University. skills to make it possible.
Such problems. And we also know that there is what we call digital fatigue and information. It abuse emerging with the digital age. A lot. With these newer psychoactive substances, a lot of them are marketed online. Such that in places where it is very very difficult to detect. This dark net we always talk about. So online drug markets, like the dark web, like I mentioned, and even open social media platform, they have become avenues for illicit drug sales, making access to narcotics like cannabis, methamphetamine, and opiate a lot easier to get than they used to be without these social media platforms. Then we also have smartphone-enabled substance use, app usage techniques, and even glorify substance use in youth cycles. Our research have shown that this has led to a lot of increase in the use of substance among youth, children, and adolescents. Then digital addiction as behavioral disorders, conditions like internet gaming and gambling disorders social media addiction and pornography addiction are now recognized as emerging forms of non-social between mental health and substance use. That is, people who use substances are more likely to develop mental health problems, and people who have mental health problems have increased risk of using substances. So, because of all these mental health problems we have enumerated, mental health disorders such as depression, bipolar disorders, PTSD, schizophrenia, and other forms of mental health problems increase the risk of self-medication with drugs. You know, and conversely, chronic drug abuse including psychosis and mood disorders. So the digital age exacerbate this relationship through isolation, poor sleep hygiene, and dopaminergic reward loops created by both the screen use and substance use. So you have them synergizing each other. That is the addictive synergize use and substance abuse. So what are the fears that we are talking about? What we include what the normalization of drug use through social media. Platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube glamorize portrayals of drug use. Where influencers casually discuss or show substance use with censorship. In our research that we did just recently, we discovered that hashtags, in fact, that's the first time I even got to hear it from some of these young people who use these substances. So hashtags like hash 420, hash 3P, hash lean are used to support drug culture, reaching even preteens, you know. So some of these things, if the normal people, the normal society don't even know what they mean, but these are codes that are used experimentation with these drugs, and that can lead eventually to drug addiction and drug abuse and addiction. And we have digital mental health disparities and inequities. This as a result of this what we call digital divide. Marginalized populations may lack access to online mental health resources or telemedicine, worsening, you know, misinformation and disinformation. The internet is replete with misleading or harmful mental these do self detox or herbal alternatives, to antidepressants or other forms of medication for mental health problems. Research have shown that 50% or more than 50% of all the mental health messages, for example, are rather misleading. They are not correct. So we have like we have seen some content on social media, you know, teaching people how to detox themselves from drugs. This do it yourself, and in fact, completely you go through it and you realize that it is absolutely not correct, very misleading. You know, instead of encouraging people who have this substance use to seek professional help, they tend to mislead them further, and that either help seeking or even worsen use problems. Then these algorithmic traps, we have what we call algorithmic traps. AI-driven algorithms often reinforce problematic behaviors by promoting content similar to what users previously engaged with. All right. So this can create echo chambers of pro-drug or anti-mental health content. And this can lead to a lot of problems with children, adolescents, and youth who are into this use, such that content, they had access in the past. So if this content they had access in the past were content related to use, keep, these algorithms keep bringing up this particular similar to that, and that makes it difficult for individuals to to aim, because this serves reminders as cues, visual cues for to go back and use software even when they are making attempt to stop. On privacy, surveillance, and ethical dilemmas of the fears, because the use of digital mental health tools raises fears about data privacy, consent, and surveillance. So, youth using mental health or drug apps may not fully understand the long-term implication of digital footprints or potential breaches. So, these are part of this with the digital problem. Then we have youth vulnerability, hyper-connected world. Adolescents are in a critical stage of identity formation, so make them more vulnerable to peer pressure, dopamine-driven behavior, and impulsive decision making influenced by online trends. So the past pandemic, this 2020 pandemic, this coronavirus pandemic, actually further entrenched digital reliance, causing an explosion in mental health symptoms and online drug-seeking behavior among the youth. So like we see, nothing can compare or replace uh, our traditional face-to-face interaction when it comes to providing the required psychosocial support, unlike this digital interaction, which is gradually replacing the face-to-face interaction. So this has become a big problem. So what is the fix? What can we do to fix this problem? So address the challenges of mental health and drug abuse in the digital era requires collaborative, multi-layered, and culturally relevant solutions. All right. So key areas of intervention may include policy and regulation. That is number one. We need to strengthen regulation to restrict the sale of drugs and prevent glorification of substance use on digital platforms, especially among social media influencers or what they call celebrities. There are digital age mental health policies put in place, that prioritize privacy, access, and standards in the use of apps, wearable or teletherapy. We should enforce age restrictions, parent controls and algorithm transfer platform heavily used by these minors. You know, the mental health digital literacy education. You know, we should integrate mental health education, digital literacy into school curricula to equip students with tools to navigate online environments safely. Right? We have to encourage thinking about media influence and substance use normalization and influencers accountability. Influencers and our celebrities to be held accountable for what they put out there for these children, youth, and adolescents to access. They should be held accountable for whatever it is that they are putting out there. And we should promote awareness about the link between screen time and mental well-being, about mental well-being and substance use. We have to, promote that awareness. People need to be aware very clearly that there is a clear link, a direct link between how much time you spend on your screens and your mental well-being. And there is a direct and clear link between your mental well-being and substance use. So this link, this relationship, the awareness of this relationship must be made very clear so that people will understand what the dangers are. Then technology as a tool for good, of this technology, uh, causing us problem. We could also use technology as a tool for good. We can develop evidence-based mental health, that provide therapeutic content, mood tracking, cognitive behavioral therapy exercises, mindfulness techniques. We should endeavor, to partner with our tech companies to create tools that, we can actually get, a value for it, by providing this kind of content. All right. We can use AI-powered early warning systems to detect suicide risk or substance abuse behavior through digital footprint, with ethical safeguards. We can encourage online support groups and telepsychiatry services to increase access to care, especially in rural and undeveloped communities. So community and family engagement very, very important. We have to foster community-led awareness campaigns on the risk of digital addiction and drug abuse. We have to train parents and caregivers to recognize signs of distress and problematic use and provide safe, non-judgmental communication spaces for them so that those who have this problem can actually uh, confident and enough to talk about it, help. Like we are doing right now, like what NDLA is doing, provide that platform, space, people to be to air their problems without being judged negatively. We have to encourage family digital detox practices, especially during formative childhood years. Your child should not just have access to the digital space. There should be some digital detox. There should be times or period where they do not, have access to the all these digital devices. So we should encourage families to implement that. We know some children they are on the phone 7 basically. That should be discouraged. Then research and continuous monitoring. We should invest in longitudinal research on how the environment affects mental health and substance use across the lifespan. Most of the researches we do are actually sectional, because researches are expensive and in fact more so longitudinal researches. So government and non-governmental organizations need to step in and provide support so that we can do a lot more longitudinal researches to actually figure out what these problems are and how to get them solved. To monitor emerging substances, that is a very big problem, like newer active substances that has become increasingly very very common among the children and adolescents and other youth populations. For example, these synthetic cannabinoids, Madaran sukudai, volatile substances, all these we need to monitor the emerging substances so that we can be able to provide, we can be able to put in place preventive measures to prevent their use. In fact, the newer psychoactive substances are even more dangerous, more destructive than even the ones we already know. All right. So we have to track online trends and emerging risk using real-time data analytics. So we should be able to provide such so that we can actually monitor how these children and adolescents are using the digital space, either to market these substances or to promote the use or to even teach, how to use them. Yes, some of them actually you go and see some of the content, they tell you what the substance is and they even teach you how to use it. So we have to monitor that and put in place measures to actually checkmate that. So in conclusion, I have deliberately decided to make the presentation a lot shorter so that we can have longer engagement with contributions, questions, and answers. So I will conclude by saying the digital age has dramatically reshaped the landscape of mental health and drug use, while it has opened up opportunities for connectivity, innovation, and expanded access to care. It has also introduced new risks that must be acknowledged and managed. The convergence of technology, mental health, and substance use call for cross-sectoral collaboration between tech companies, healthcare providers, educators, policymakers, and communities. By confronting the facts, addressing the legitimate fears, and implementing a coherent fix, we can turn the digital revolution into an ally rather than a threat to mental health and well-being. So thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Please, your contributions are welcome. Questions are welcome as we delve into the nitty-gritty of the matter. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, there, Dr. Abdullahi Abdulwahab Yakubu. He is a consultant psychiatrist at the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital Zaria and also founder chief executive officer at the Ezel Mental Health Foundation. Dr. Abdullahi has been speaking with us the last 30 minutes. Thank you for that precise and straight to the point presentation. All right, let's quickly acknowledge some of our compatriots on the space this hour. We have the woman that has gone on sabbatical for about how many months now? Dr. Kemi Lawyer. Dr. Kemi Lawyer is joining us live from her location outside of the shores of Nigeria this hour. Thank you very much, Dr. Kemi Lawyer. Dr. Kemi Lawyer has been a consistent member of this platform before she went on sabbatical. We also have Winnie. We have Yusuf Muntaka Dabo. Thank you, Yusuf Dabo. We also have Dr. Okay, I saw Dr. Suraj Abdulkadir. Dr. Suraj, obviously, I have approved your attempt to switch to the speaker's corner twice, but I think your network is not allowing. You may need to leave and then come in again so that let's see how your network and then request for the mic again. Then I'll definitely, I have my systems in front of me. I'll definitely approve you as soon as you come back. All right, that's we also have Dr. James Komalafe. Thank you very much, Dr. James Komalafe, another senior member of this platform. Sadatu Haman. Sadatu has been an advocate and a voice for the women folk in this whole effort. Soil Whisperer NG, thank you. Funsho Jimo, always around. Abdul Malik Yahaya, thank you, Abdul Malik, for coming around again today. Kams, Betty, Isaiah Ashimugu, thank you. Mohammed Bafo, Euphemia Abdul, okay, Dr. Suraj Abdul Kadir, acknowledged that earlier. Then we also have, yes, I think Dr. Suraj should be able to should be able to switch well now. Okay, we also have Kianchat Benjamin. I hope I got that right. Engineer Jimmy Martins, Destiny, Prince Isaac, Muhammad Abba. We also have Agba Trader, Emily Kaino, Osunlana Folashade Faith. We also have Fozia Haruna, Uthman Mikel, Ogidi Anthony, Dr. Seamless. Dr. Seamless is a psychiatrist. I've seen of his profile. We also have Springers 24, Elenia Soluade Oluwayemisi, Omotoyo Sigbenga, Joel Jesse, and Austin Deluxe Double X, and we also have Afunwa Eshetana. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining this conversation. We also like to appreciate and acknowledge all our compatriots joining via our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Thank you for coming around today. I'm still seeing Dr. Suraj Abdulkadir still struggling with his network, but then let's start it. We have quite a lot of people that obviously will want to contribute to the paper presented by Dr. Abdullah this afternoon. Okay, let's give the first lot to Dr. Kemi Lawyer, who has been away for months now. Let's get her in. Her view, her opinion, her take on the presentation. Dr. Kemi, we'd like to welcome you back, and let's have your take, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Babafemi. It's nice to be back. Ironically, this is the week I left last year, end of July. So it's actually one whole year that I've been gone. Look how fast that was. I'm really pleased to be back here on the NDLEA Spaces. I'm Dr. Kemi Olunloye. I'm a pharmacist, a retired pharmacist now, and retired journalist. I'm doing PR now.
So you are never tired. You are still active in all
I'm doing PR for Mr. Trump. Oh, that's my man. You can see my old tweets now. U.S. government needs me. But I was born in Nigeria, so I am still a Nigerian citizen first. And anytime the NDLEA needs me, I'm always available. I've just been very busy. Friday is a tricky day. So I'm back, and I'll be trying to come maybe 2 Fridays a month. I'm working on other projects too that have to do with drug abuse and environment. Dr. Abdullah, good afternoon. Thank you. This is what we are dealing with right now. I just arrived in Accra, Ghana. my third country. And what is going on here is serious, and the digital age is making it worse. How do we, first, I'm going to ask you a question, Dr. Abdullahi. How do we control the same things that we have worked on in the past? For example, I am going to be 61 next week. And when I was 31, I launched a campaign in America to educate young school children on drugs. I went to several schools. These kids that I educated are now in their 40s. They have families, careers, they've moved on. Now there's a new generation of kids, not just these Gen Zs, but the ones after the Gen Zs. And the same thing is going on. You can wake up and say, okay, the drug problem is gone, but there's a new bunch of children born, and then they start the same thing. Now with the digital age, like here in Accra, Ghana now, I've been working on this HIV, the link to the HIV and drugs, something we did in the 80s, heroin. And now this Ghana Loud, this marijuana strain that's going into Nigeria. They're calling it Ghana Loud in Nigeria, but Ghana, accept, what's the word? Ghana, Mr. Babafim, what's that word do? Legalized. Ghana legalized marijuana for medicinal purposes. It went through the parliament in 2023, and it's not legalized for recreation, just medicinal. Now, what you see on the digital space, I'm seeing on Twitter, I'm seeing on Instagram, Ghanaian rappers saying, oh, I want to get a marijuana farm. I want to grow so I can sell to the doctors. All these farms in Ghana, these drugs are going for recreation to the wrong places. They're shipping to Nigeria. They're using drones and dispatch riders to order drugs inside Ghana. They have children. I sent the article to Mr. Babafemi 3 days ago. There was an article in the Daily Graphic, Ghana's newspaper. When I arrived here a couple of days ago, I noticed that article, and everyone should read it. In the Volta region of Ghana, they're putting this towards the president to do something. Children are going to marijuana farms to work after school, and then they go home. Instead of going going home and do homework, they're going to marijuana farms to work. So that's disturbing. You've already seen the same marijuana in America, ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They went to make a raid on a marijuana farm, and 2 people died, one of the farmers and one other person. These are drugs that were illegal. Now, once they legalize it on their farms and everything, I told some people here today, if you have a marijuana farm in Nigeria, the NDLA is coming for you, and they're going to burn it down. They are going to burn it down because we are not going to legalize marijuana in Nigeria. And I'm saying this as a pharmacist who has actually dispensed synthetic Marinol in my practice in the 90s. Every society is different. This is a drug that has properties that can really alter the mind. And a lot of young people need to continue education. So on this note, I want to ask you, Dr. Abdullahi, what do you think is the best way to conquer this digital age? Because you remember when they were saying, like, no more, America canceled all the internet drugs, like, don't sell drugs on the internet, kind of those order the drugs from China thing. But now the internet is so saturated. People are selling this in underground web. What do you think governments can do about the underground web and the prescription drug sellers? That's my question, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Kemi. Nice to have you back with us again. Yeah, a very thought-provoking question. You see, this is beyond individuals, and that is why I started by saying, for the fix, number one, governments have to do something. Policy and regulation. They need to strengthen internet regulation to restrict sales of drugs and prevent glorification of substance use on the digital platform. what we have really is disturbing. You have when you call people influencers, what does it mean? These are people that have the potential to influence other people, especially the young, the young generation. You call people
Right.
celebrities. The young generation, they want to become like them, and then you have these people glorifying the use of substance on the digital space.
Yeah.
Without any regulation, without any consequences. What do you expect the young generation to do? They want to be like them, and when they glorify it, they feel like, okay, this person get to where he or she is because they do this, they use this, but which is not so. So at the end of the day, no matter how much advocacy we do, these people try, they end up undoing what we do. In fact, they have higher reach, or let me say more extensive reach than we have. That is, they reach more people than we do. Ordinarily, these people are supposed to partner with us to actually drive them home. Using drugs will not get you anywhere. In fact, at best, it will make you worse off. But we are here telling people, do not use drugs, stay away from drugs. They are there in their own space, telling people how fantastic it is to use drugs. How drugs can get you, to places where you don't, you never could have reached, or something like that. So there is a problem. There is a disconnect, and I think government needs to step in, to strengthen internet regulation so that they can stop all this glorification and promotion of substance abuse, on digital platforms. And we've argued this several times. When people say this country have legalized cannabis, that country have legalized, we have to look at our peculiarities.
Yeah.
If other countries have legalized the use of cannabis, come to think of what is going to happen if we legalize the use of cannabis in a country like Nigeria. The crisis we are going to have on our hands. We don't have the resources, both human resources and facilities to handle the crisis or the fallout that is going to happen. So we cannot just simply copy and paste. We have to look at things based on our peculiarities. And that is why we keep preaching to our fellow countrymen who keep constantly say they need to legalize. Because as soon as you legalize it for medical use, we don't have the means to monitor who uses it for medical purposes and who doesn't. And the question is,
Dr. Abdullahi,
yes.
Dr. Abdullahi, what you were saying just now, hold that thought. I want you to finish that sentence. You're a doctor. Many people have found out, many people in the Nigerian Medical Association do not want marijuana legalized because they have no use for it. That's not the therapies they're looking for. But I keep telling Nigeria this. If you want to legalize something for medicinal use, you expect doctors and pharmacists to support it. The Nigerian pharmacists are not supporting it. The doctors are not supporting it. They're only trying to get it into an avenue of recreation. And we have seen increased crime. Anywhere they've legalized marijuana, there is increased crime. In America, in Canada, it's increased crime. There's only one state that doesn't allow marijuana. No recreation, no medicinal. If you carry weed on you, they will arrest you at the airport. And that's the state of Texas. Texas, Dallas Airport, they arrest celebrities there with marijuana. They forget they're going to an area that is not allowed. At the end of the day, what do you think, and this is my last question for you, what do you think the role of the parents is with the internet? Does that give the parent more reason to monitor what their children are buying on the internet?
Yeah, in fact, before I go to the parent, I wanted to say something that look, whatever we think the benefit of marijuana is medically, the question is, don't we have other safer alternatives for that same purpose? We do. We do. So why do we have to? Why risk it? Why have to? Risk it all for a purpose. And we can also use other safe alternatives to achieve the same results. So I still think there is need for the legalization. Honestly, that is my take. Yes, for parents, like I said, in fact, family and communities. That is where we are supposed to start from. That is the basic family, the basic unit, of our existence. And if you look at trajectory, in fact, most of these problems started when we began to have the breakdown of the family unit.
Right.
Have time for their children. What many people think parenting is all about is to provide the material needs of their family, which is not so.
Yeah.
It goes beyond that. You need to actually be there to train these children to understand what is right and what is wrong. Just going up to provide their material needs falls short of what you are supposed to do as a parent. But of course, that is what we now. Parents would rather hire a nanny or somebody to take care of their children while they go out to hustle for money. Yes, we are not saying people should not hustle, but you must understand that the investment in your children should not just be material. They must be, that moral component of it. You have to be with your children. You have to actually impact in them the values you expect them to grow with. So it is very, very important. Families, parents, families. I remember when we used to live in the communal way. It doesn't need to take your parents to discipline you. Anybody, any elderly person in the community would discipline you if they see you doing the wrong thing. But now, what do we have? Everybody to himself. When you see a child, doing something wrong, it is none of your business. I have seen the parents who will even go and fight teachers. We need to go back to who we used to be, and understand that the family structure is very, very important. If you have strong families, you are going to have strong communities. And when you have communities, you are going to raise proper, very disciplined, children. So it is very, very important that we understand this as parents, that our role does not begin and end with provision of material needs of our children. It is very important. We actually become present parents. You have to be present in the life of the child, not until things. Many people do what their children do. They request for phone, you buy for them, they have access to everything. You don't know what they are. No, you have to do better than that. Right? And that is why I have to foster community-led awareness campaigns on the risk of digital addiction and drug abuse. Parents must understand that these devices you hand over to your children, it can make or mar them. In fact, it can destroy everything you are trying to build. So you must show interest in what they use these devices to do. You also need to train them.
Thank you for answering my question. Last question. Quick. Dr. Abdullahi, how did you learn those hashtags? Who taught you those hashtags?
Actually, there is a research we did recently on one of the new psychoactive substances in one of these northern states. And during the research, we asked, so how do you get these things? And some of them will do the young chaps. They will tell you, because of harassment from NDLA, sometimes now they tend to buy online. So through them, they were able to open up, and I got to add that, any dealer, when you send this code, they understand what you mean. That #420, #3P,
I'm going to write them. I'm going to write them all down, and I will pass it to parents. Thank you so much for answering me. Thank you.
Yes. In fact, I remember a couple of them. Actually, I think, let's. A couple actually use that code in my presence to order, and it got delivered. It got delivered. What? to stem the
The
tide.
awareness needs to be bigger for the parents too. Anything they're using emojis as well. The herb emoji, the snow emoji, the ice emoji. So the awareness needs to be done. I wish you can be here next week, or I'm planning something. I want to do a presentation. I'm not sure yet, but I'm doing
It's
one of
okay.
my researches is on the environment and drugs, and no one is talking about drugs and climate change. I'm something with the NDLEA, but it could be next week or the week after. But I'm working on that here right now. There's a lot of heroin in Ghana, a lot, and a lot of marijuana, and the HIV is the highest in Africa now. So there's work on the ground all the time. Thanks for answering my questions. I'll be listening to the rest of the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll be more than
Thank
happy
you, Mr.
when.
Babasemi.
All right, thank you
Thank you.
very much there, Dr.
You're
Abdullah and
welcome.
Dr.
Thank you, Dr.
Lawyer. Thank
Abdullah.
you for
Mm.
the conversation there. Okay, let's move to the next contributions now. Let's take from Dr. Suraj Abdulkadir. Dr. Abdulkadir, please go ahead and mute yourself. I know it's a whole lot of struggle for you to be on this corner because of network issues, but now now that you are stable, let's see what you have, either your contribution or your question. Dr. Suraj, please go ahead and mute yourself and let's hear from you. Yes, Dr. Suraj Abdulkadir. Okay, obviously maybe his network is still not stable. Okay, let's move to the next person, Dr. James Komolafe. Let's have your take, please.
Hello? Can you
Yes,
hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you so very much, Doctor. And good to hear our sister there, Dr. Lunloyo. Welcome to the show. Good to hear your voice. Now, the question I like to ask is about CBT Doctor mentioned. I think is one of the pivotal ways by which we can put a blend, family, emotional connection blend with their children and words, because till tomorrow, sir, ma, charity begins at home. Doctor, what effort have we made so far to see how
Springers 20.
Thank you very much, Dr. James. That is quite true. I know we are doing our best, but I think we can do more. And to be honest, I will always commend the NDLA for taking this bold initiative. But I will say they need all the help they can get. You know, so I think without waiting for the NDLA to do everything, we as individuals at the level of our various organizations, I think we can begin to think of how we could design these programs. And then, like you said, through the NDLA, we may get the help of the government to begin to implement them. You know, CBT at the family level, of course, would be a game changer. Would be a game changer. But even before we go to CBT, even the awareness at the family level is nearly inadequate. The awareness, that is where to even the very beginning of the whole thing, is not even adequate. You know, and I think we may have to do more. And like I have said in the past, yeah, this is commendable. But some of the or most of the families that we need to reach out to, I can assure you, they are not on Twitter. It's usually the youth that are there. All right. What about the families? Where are they? How can we reach them? Where can we reach them? All right. Most families, at least like as to the best of my, most families still watch televisions together. All right. Which of our national television stations, would be willing to give us that platform, you know, even if it is not free, at a very acceptable rate for us to reach these families. So it is, we have a lot of impediments, we have a lot of limitations, but I believe with concerted effort, we could actually do a lot. Like I say, if we leave everything to the NDLE, then we don't expect them to be able to actually achieve everything we would want them to achieve. But if we come together as a people and offer some kind of support, I believe we could go places. I believe we all have various organizations or NGOs that we could actually pull together and see how best we could design this family CBT and see how much we could do to reach as many families as possible. And that would have been a danger, really. I agree with you. I agree with you. It's something we should all think about. But we can't leave everything to the NDA. In fact, I don't think I've not seen an agency that is doing as much as they are doing. Really, really. Of course, there's always room for improvement. I believe they can do more. But to be honest, they are really trying. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Abdullah and Dr. James Komolafe there. Let's go to the next. Okay, perhaps if Dr. Suraj is not ready yet, we have quite a number in our DM. Let's quickly take some from this. Okay, Dr. Suraj, are you ready now?
Hello, good afternoon.
Okay, please go ahead,
good
Dr.
afternoon,
Suraj.
everyone.
Good afternoon. Please go ahead.
I would like to commend the NDLA for the very good work they are doing against drug abuse in this country. And I would also like to thank Dr. Abdullah Abdulwahab Yahu for a wonderful presentation on this topic, mental health and drug abuse in the digital age. I have a question that we know the role of celebrities in fostering the culture of drug use in our society. So, harness that potential celebrity, the fight about Apple, because we like it or not, children go online, internet, for one reason or the other, and they copy a lot.
Okay, I guess Dr. Abdul, Dr. Sur. Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Hello,
Dr.
I hope
Suraj.
I'm clear.
I think. Okay, the last, the concluding part of your question was off here, but I guess the basic thing is you were asking how we can get influencers and celebrities to put out the right content as against those contents that glorify and drug use and mislead millions of our youth. Actually, that's a regular topic. That's a regular issue that we discuss here on this platform. And at the level of the NDLA, quite a number of efforts have been taken, and quite a number of initiatives have been taken in that direction. That is through the stick and the carrot approach for those that are actually indulged in substances, dealing in substances, we ensure that they are made to face the consequences of that. And for those we believe can still be worked on to change their messaging, the content of their messaging, and be positive influencers, definitely we work with them either directly as individuals or as through the associations. For instance, we have that working relationship with Guild of Actors. That's the umbrella body for those in the Nollywood. And then we also have that relationship also with Performing Musicians Association of Nigeria, PIMA. And we also have a club called Drug Free Celebrity Club, through which we also reach out to some of these people. So all are those different platforms and layers, we do engage with them. And like I said, beside advocacy, we also deploy the stick approach, that is getting to enforce the law when any of them is caught with these things. And we've seen quite a number of them that have been arrested, prosecuted, and indeed convicted. And that effort is still ongoing. Thank you very much there once again, Dr. Suraj. I believe, except Dr. Abdullah wants to add something to that.
No, I think you are.
Yeah, I believe basically it's an NDLA question. Yeah.
Yes, you have said everything you that needs to be said. Thank you, Mr. Fromo, and thank you, Dr. Suraj.
Thank you very much, dear. Let's take the next contribution from Ogbeni Oluwole. Ogbeni Oluwole, please go ahead. Unmute yourself. Let's get your question or your contribution, please.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Femi Babafemi. It's been a while. I haven't joined the NDLA space in a minute, but thank you for what you guys do. I know most of the things that has been said already, but I don't want to go without my contribution. Tackling mental health and drug abuse in particularly Nigeria's digital age, I think we all agree here that it requires a multi-sectoral approach. We have to look at, all government policies. We have to look at community action, private sector collaborations, and also youth empowerment. I would like to give kudos to the NDLEA because particularly the Ogun State Command, I work closely with quite a few of your officers out there to do some of community-based approaches, and I would say for a fact that recently one of the events that was hosted, although I couldn't make it in person, but I was part of the people that raised awareness within our community in Remo, Ogun State. So big kudos to the NDLEA for that. And I think I just wanted to mention, I know most of these things have been said already, but I would still like to mention, like, we need there's 7 things that I wrote down here. One is the public awareness and education, nationwide mental health campaign. Someone said something here earlier that the people that are affected by these things, sometimes they're not necessarily online. Yes, we say the digital age. Some people would think, okay, well, what about we're just talking about the people online? Absolutely not, because sometimes the people that are back home that don't even have access to the internet also, become victims, or they somehow partake in it as well. And another thing that I was thinking about is school-based digital literacy programs, how we can integrate mental health education and responsible, digital use into school curriculums. That would go a long way. And someone has mentioned it already, influencer led campaigns, partnering with Afrobeat musicians. I will tell you, some people know all the Afrobeat songs that comes out every week, and they don't even know where to go to get help if someone, has, mental related issues. Another thing that I wrote down was strengthening policies and regulations. We need to enforce stricter online content regulations. I know the NCC can take care of that. We restrict access to online drug markets and websites promoting drug use. I know there's something called the dark web, and I've heard about people going online. Also on spaces here, I've heard about people going online, being able to find a dealer, to any kind of like drugs that they're looking for. So we need stricter policies to also enforce that. We need to regulate online gambling and betting apps. A lot of people would look at it, how does that relate um, to mental health? We need to introduce stricter age verification and all this, daily limits and all of that. Look, a lot of betting activities can be related at addiction and mental health issues. And the Nigeria Mental Health Act 2021, we need to fully implement that by also helping, allocate funds for mental health services. Another one is, the third one is access to mental health services. Telehealth platforms should be something that we should be moving to extensively in Nigeria, because not, some people live in remote areas where access to hospital, might be hard, but there might be a psychotherapist, psychologist, psychiatrist somewhere in Abuja that can use, telehealth to treat a patient or to attend to a patient in Meduguri or in Ibadan. Also community-based mental health clinics, just like we're having a lot of those, clinics pop up these days in our communities. Some of them should have a desk that is strictly, for mental health. Another thing is a 24/7 helpline. We need that as well. I'll tell you, in countries like the United States and the UK and a few other countries as well, they have these options where you can pick up your phone, dial this, dial these numbers. You're speaking directly to someone that knows, about what your condition is, that can probably help you or call a wellness check or things like that for you. So another one is, combating drug abuse. NDLEA, I know you guys are really, really trying. Um, we need to just, strengthen the effort against illegal importation, sale of things like, tramadol, codeine, and other, substances as well. And another thing that I think that we really lack is rehabilitation and reintegration programs. This is another thing that we need to do very well, and community vigilance. Another one here is parental and community engagement. I know in Nigeria, we're very religious people and all of that, and I think we can also use that at this point, using our churches, mosques, whatever traditional channel to talk about dangers of drug abuse and digital addiction. And when we do that, we need a monitoring process as well to see what is working. If we engage in a certain um, methodology and it's not working, we can definitely look at it again and probably change or adjust one or two things. Also, we need to empower our youth through technology as well, digital skill training and things like that. We can also create maybe like, all this gamified mental health apps where, Nigerian made apps that teaches positive mental habits and research and data solutions as well. Nationwide surveys, we need to carry that out at almost every level. This would let us know how much issues that we have relating to mental health, and also in the modern day of AI tools, definitely we have a lot of um, techies in Nigeria, and we can engage some of them to develop tools that would create some kind of like early warning system to detect drug promotion and harmful mental health trends. So thank you, NDLEA. Thank you for always doing this. God bless you.
All right, thank you very much, there, Benny Oluwole. Actually, he's touched on virtually all that has been mentioned and discussed here today. And one of the things that caught my attention in his contribution is the issue of the helpline, which we actually, which was part of our earlier introduction on this platform, that the NDLA has a toll-free helpline that can be reached from any part of the country. It's toll free. Nobody is paying for it. The bill is on us. All anybody that has any issue can do is to dial the number is 0800 and then there at it's a 24/7 helpline and it's language sensitive, meaning that if you can't speak English, or Pidgin. The experts there can attend to you in any of the three major Nigerian languages. That's Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo. That's one. And there at the center you have our counselors, clinical psychologists, psychotherapists, as well as psychiatric doctors who work 24/7. That is, they are available at the center 247 every day, every hour, every minute, and every second of the week to attend to the needs of people. All right, that's that. Once again, we'd like to appreciate Ogbeni Oluwole for his contributions and for your kind remarks. That level. Okay, let's get to the next contribution now. Let's take okay, who is there? Okay, let's take Kiangshat Benjamin. Kiangshat Benjamin, can we get your contribution or question now? You can mute yourself. Now let's hear from you. Kiangshat Benjamin. Okay, please go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone on the space. Thank you for the opportunity. Good afternoon to the host, co-host, and to my teacher, Dr. Abdul Wahab. As a volunteer at Booster Training Institute, the issues that we are raised today, from drug abuse, digital age, parenting, these are the factors or the issues that are obtainable in Booster Training Institute. So most of the boys, after they serve their time and are out, they tend to relapse or become worse. So my question is, how can we help them to be better when they are out? Or how can we help them to transform? Thank you.
All right, thank you, there. Dr. Abdullah, over to you.
Thank you very much for your question. A beautiful and a wonderful question. Recidivism, or like you say, relapse, we call it recidivism. That is the tendency to reoffend after one is out of remand or something like that. I think we need to go beyond the punishment or command, as it is. When a child or a minor offends, in fact, not just a minor, anybody who offends and is convicted, we need to understand what the problem was, what circumstances led to the offense. All right. And if that is not taken care of, it's just a matter of time that the person goes back to reoffend again. For example, we have spoken about the importance of the family unit. All right. There are certain things that are not being done right at the level of the family or at the level of the community. And now, after this young boy have served his sentence and is going back to the same community, nothing has changed. He goes back to the same environment that has had negative influence on his behavior. You don't expect much to change. It's only a matter of time that the boy goes back to what had happened. All right. So during the stay or during the detention period, or when the child is serving the term, you will have to find out what the problem is. Is there need for changes in the environment? Is there need for certain things to change? Is he still going to keep the same friends? Is he still going to be in the same company or stuff like that? All right. And if he finishes from here, what next? Is he going back to school? Is he learning a trade? Is he, you have to put all these things in place. But usually what we have is, okay, this child has offended, he has been convicted, he's taken to the booster home, he served his sentence, and then he goes back to the same community. He goes back to the same friends. He goes back to the same family structure. He goes back to the same community. And of course, just serving the sentence is not enough, to correct the behavior. So we need to go beyond that. We actually need to put proper rehabilitative measures in place so that when these children serve their sentences, they actually go through that rehabilitative process, behavioral change. How many of our boosters home actually behavioral therapy for these children. I don't think I know any that do that. All right. So we need to do a lot. You know, the Boosters Home need to work very closely with clinical psychologists, counselors, child and adolescent psychiatrists to put in place, you know, and the social workers to put in place mechanisms. You know, you carry out your behavioral therapies to, you know, to change their behavior for better. You know, you need to liaise with the families to see what and what need to change. You know, which friend and which friend need to go. You know, and things like that. So if you do that, if you put all these things in place, you are likely going to see fewer recidivism. But if you don't do that, child is going back to the same family, the same community. The only thing that has happened is he has taken time to serve whatever time he needed to serve. Nothing really special had happened. You don't expect that child to change. All right, so a lot need to be done. There need to be more things done, more than just serving the time. So I hope this makes it much clearer for you. Thank you.
All right, thank you there, Dr. Abdullah, for your response to the question raised by Juan Shat. Okay, let's take the next one from Olaton. Olaton, please unmute yourself and let's hear from you, your question or your contribution. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're streaming from around the world. I just want to make a quick note on this subject matter. Okay, shout out to Exam Mental Health. I will start from the community level before we move to the digital age that we are right now in respect to the subject. Now, I feel that the government, at any level, whether state, federal, or local level, are not doing as it ought to do, or the government at any level is not doing what it ought to do in some aspects. I believe that the NDLEA is doing, making strides in ensuring that the proliferation of drugs is being controlled to some certain level. But I believe at the community level, there's this. You find different forms of crimes that are coming up every day, right? And most of these crimes are perpetrated by youth or teens, if you like. So, and it's becoming a menace. If you go to prison yards, if you go to police stations, most of the crimes you heard or you see, or the cases you see there are mostly from this set of Nigerians, right, that we have. So I think the government should find a way, just like I said, at any level, of holding community or town hall meetings. Of course, working alongside the traditional rulers, and most of the target should be the youth of from these communities. I don't know if the NDLEA has anything like that in place. Why? Because I think these youth need to know, apart from the crimes they commit, by the influence of these drugs they take, they should know the health dangers that comes with these drugs that they're using and they're abusing. Like you find a 16-year-old, 14-year-old, 13, 12, and it's even gotten to 10. Sometimes when I walk in the street, you see a small boy by the corner, taking some things. He doesn't even know what what he's taking, for instance, right? And these are the things that push this set of Nigerians, if you will call it that way, or anybody anywhere around the world, that make them commit such kind of crimes without any human feeling. Like we have heard of cases like those who attack people to snatch their phones and rape, and so many vices that are coming up like daily in different forms, like I said earlier. So I think at the community level, the NDLEA needs to stretch more hands to the traditional rulers and these youth that are the subject of these crimes, right, and this drug abuse. Because I believe before, when I was younger, before I see a stick of maybe something, a substance that is inhaled or exhaled or whatever, I don't know, in whatever form they take it, it will be an adult. But nowadays you see very young people doing these things, and it calls for concern, because imagine someone start taking such substances from the age of 10, 11. So when he gets to 20, what would he be doing? You understand? And just like the last speaker said, it's not about the jail sentence or whatever, or the time they spend their time in the prison or whatever. They still come back and get integrated into this same society with the same ideology. Nothing has changed, right? So what happens after then? Now, quickly, let me move to the digital age that we are right now. I believe the NDLEA and the members concerned are aware that some influencers on X here promote the use of these drugs, right? I've seen it on X, and these are Nigerians, and these are huge influencers on Twitter here, on X, that do this kind of thing. So I don't know if the NDLEA has a system to track these people, or have a conversation, or some can be an X space like this. That audience that they have, the number of followers that they have, because some of them have more than 100K followers, some of them have more than 200K followers, should be used in the positive, not in the negative, I believe. Just like I heard you saying you partner with some of these the influencers. I think more needs to be done. The education and the positivity that should come out of these followers that they have should be something that is, meaningful, not what I'm seeing, seriously, because some of them are role models, some of them are artists, right? And a young boy who has an artist or a role model online and is seeing the lifestyle that person is flaunting, of course, some of them abuse drugs, right? And it's open, because the age that we are now has brought some level, I can't say some level, has brought too much, freedom to everyone around the world. So some of these things needs to be regulated by the government, of course. So I think some things need to change, not the way that we see it, or the way these things are happening. It's usually more than that we see. You're just saying it. So what if the next person come behind you? You don't you don't know what that person have seen. Just like you can't just say it all. So I believe that the government entirely and the NDLEA needs to find a way to use this thing as this social media that we have now, and this internet, right, as a tool to make things better with this menace that we have in our community. It's really alarming. I can say that, at least for the community that I am, it's really alarming. I lost someone that I know who was a vibrant youth to some of these substances. Some of them take this thing, they don't know what they're taking. And it's happened that my younger sister was a nurse in that hospital that he was admitted. So my concern is that it's not just about taking these substances, right? These people need to be educated. They need to be educated and know what they are taking into their system, and the long-term effect these things they are taking is going to have in their system. I believe something is being done, but I'm just saying that we need more of these things, like to the grassroots. And it's a community thing. Like I said, in my own way, I know what I do. Like, I speak to these people if I have the opportunity and let them know. Like, I've seen, I can't count, but most of them don't they don't even get punished for some of these things. Like, it's a norm, and it's seriously, it's called for urgency, and something amicably should be done. Thank you very much, Mr. Femi. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much there, Olaton, for your contributions and for all the details. Because a number of times you mentioned the NDLA, so I would like to speak on some of the areas where, especially when you talk of taking advocacy to the traditional rulers and all those communities. Indeed, our policy or our own strategy has always been a whole of government approach, that is working with relevant ministries, departments, and agencies of government to ensure that we drive all of this together, and then a whole of society approach. And that's why you have quite a lot of stakeholders usually on this on our space and on our platforms. And I believe one of them is Ogbeni Oluwole, who just mentioned how he partnered with our command in Ogun State. And that's exactly what we do every day of the week. Our commands across all the states of the Federation work with non-governmental organizations, civil society organizations, faith-based organizations, influential individuals, community-based organizations, and the schools to take these things to the schools, to motor parks, garages, as well as palaces of tradition. I mean, every Sunday, if you come on our handles, especially from 6 in the evening, you see we post a 5-minute video containing some of these highlights across the country. We post them. That's a production of all our social advocacy activities for that week. We just highlight a few of them in schools, in motor parks, in garages, in churches, in mosques, in the palaces of traditional rulers, in community centers, all of this. But then even at that, we cannot do it alone. We have to work with a lot of other people, including you, including Ogbeni Oluwole, Dr. Kemi Oluwole. No, Dr. Abdullah is a consultant psychiatrist. He has to contribute by establishing a non-governmental organization, a Mental Health Foundation. Dr. James Komolave has the same thing. So all of us, we all have, that's why we call it a whole of society approach. Everybody, we all have our own sphere of influence. Just like you rightly said, that you also do this when you see these people. So we all have to ensure, and again, we have to emphasize parenting, because these people come from homes. They live in homes. We got to get the parents to wake up. What are they doing? Why are they sleeping? Why are they not paying attention to the changes in the sleeping pattern of their children, to the eating habit of their children, to the friends, the kind of friends, I mean, when they change circle of friends, all of these things, they are all the flags we need to observe. They are all the signs parents need to observe before it becomes a society thing. And and you yourself, you said it yourself, by the time these things gets, bigger than what even the parents themselves can consume, then everybody will now, hey, government. But forgetting that we actually, as parents, starting from the home level, which is the smallest unit of the society, we have failed at that level. And so that's but then we do appreciate, and then we continue. We, all of us, everybody, we just, because this problem is huge and complex, and then we just have to ensure that beside what we are driving at the national level, we are getting the buy-in of the states, of the local government. We need all the subnational governments to get actively involved in all of these activities, so that we can cascade all these things down to the grassroots, to the last villages and in our communities. Once again, we'd like to appreciate it. I don't know whether Dr. Abdullah will want to say anything to that before I get the contribution of Dr. Kemi, before we move on to other people. Okay,
I think you've said it all. And this problem, I am sad to tell you, it cut across many of the countries within the sub-region. I'm actually doing this program from Ghana. I'm currently in Ghana. Earlier today, I've had this discussion with a lot of people regarding what is happening. And the substance use is just out of hand. Very young children, is something else. It's just like what we have over there in Nigeria. And it's a problem. It's a global problem. And I think, like you've said, at our own levels, I think we are doing a lot. Of course, no doubt, a lot can be done, but I think we commend NDLA for providing these platforms for us to come together and rub mind and teach each other what we need to do, and what we need to avoid. So I think we are getting somewhere. We have gone further than where we started, and I think with continuous effort, hopefully we will get where we are actually aiming to get at, a drug-free society. So, like you said, at our individual levels, no effort is too small. We must all, put in some effort to ensure that this problem is tackled and eradicated. So, thank you very much for the question.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Abdullah. All right, let's take Dr. Kemi. Please go ahead.
Dr. Abdullah, you said you're in Ghana, right?
Yes,
I know.
ma'am,
I
in
didn't
Ghana,
want
right?
to disclose. I didn't want to disclose that to you before. I knew Dr. Abdullah is in Ghana, and I know you are in Ghana. So now you have
Yeah,
exposed.
I just
You have
arrived a
given
couple of
yourself
days
out,
ago.
Dr. Abdullah.
Just you know what? We will meet soon. But I'm going to Volta because of the pregnancy situation over there. I don't know if you've heard about that. The 10-year-olds, 2,790 10-year-old girls pregnant in Volta. And a
Yes.
lot of it has to do with microplastics and the environment. And a lot of people are shouting all over Ghana that it's the parenting. But a lot of the girls are starting a menstrual period now at 10, and there's a lot of microplastics in our food today. That's why I'm doing this project that I'm going to link with the NDLE for the environment and drugs. Because, I mean, what's worse than your 10-year-old getting pregnant, then they go into drugs? I wanted to do a rebuttal to what you said. The way we approach gun violence in Canada, when I was in Canada, was that same approach. We went to the parents and we asked them. There's a lot of shootings, and Toronto police, who I worked for, I volunteered my time for them. I could get to the people better than the police. So I went to houses, I went to community centers. Do you have a child who has killed somebody out there eating at the dinner table? You might have a killer on your dinner table. Do you check your children's bags for guns? Wake up, set the alarm to 2 a.m., go to their room, take their bags, check under their bed. This approach worked, and this is how many young people were going out there shooting and killing, and their parents didn't know they were the shooters. It's the same thing with the drugs. There has to be some kind of community-based we had a presentation here last year where I had this ABCDEFG thing. Like certain people in the community have to gather together and become the person that we ask, okay, are you okay today? Are you well tomorrow? Even though my son lives in another part of the US, we still have to call our children. He said, don't let me lie to you, Mom. I'm getting addicted to this sports betting. And I was so shocked because you get all your money from work and you go spend it on sport betting. So one day I asked him, I said, drugs in car? I hope you haven't used drugs over there. He said, oh, no, Mommy, because I don't want my kids on drugs. So at the end of the day, you have to continuously ask your child that question. You know what I mean? And last week, they had a fantastic, Mr. Babafemi, I listened to the show. The last week's show was hot. They had a show last week about sports betting. And you do need that second part. So you have to continuously ask the kids, ask your young people, and also ask kids in your community. You know what I mean? Ask kids in your community. For example, I was walking out here and I saw a group of, if you know Ghana, you know the groups of kids working from school after school. I didn't know these children. They look like 14 and 15-year-olds. They're in groups in their uniform. And I just say, hi, everyone. Everybody okay? No drugs. So they're all like, no, we don't do drugs. Don't ever let anybody tempt you to drugs, Yahoo, prostitution. I gave them a 2-minute lecture. Okay, thank you, Mommy, and they go. Those are Ghanaian kids for you. So it has to start from the home. Everybody has to be part of it. The home, the community, the workplaces, everywhere. So anyone that says, oh, it's not my problem, it's not my problem. Okay, my landlord tried that when I was living in Aja in 2022. He said to me, I said, have you heard about the raid the NDLE made in your estate? My landlord said, oh, I don't do drugs. I don't sell it. None of that stuff concerns me. I'm like, it actually concerns you. My own landlord, though, I said, it concerns you because your house was on that street where they raided. But Madam Kemi, how does it concern me now? I said, the drugs they raided is called methamphetamine. An entire mansion on your street. No one lived in there. They were making the drug in there. And methamphetamine includes a lot of dangerous chemicals like toluene. So if those people blew up your whole street, every house is gone. So it concerns everyone. So I sent him the link. The NGLA went in there, busted a whole huge operation. Mr. Babafemi, you remember the VGC raid?
Absolutely.
That one was in a residential area. Making meth in a residence, they could blow up 2-3 streets there. So that's why it concerns us. Know what your neighbors are doing, know what your neighbors' children, say hello every now and then. because it's awareness. And that's what we did in Toronto with the gun violence and got the guns off the streets. And that's what we're telling them in Chicago, because the Chicago gun violence thing has been there for 25 years. And now we've got 14-year-olds on the ground being shot by 16-year-olds. I mean, if you type this, Baltimore, my hometown, if you type this into Google, I'm not making it up. This is why I love Google. 16-year-old shot dead in Baltimore. Watch what comes out in the results. Plenty of stories. 16-year-old blah, 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 killed in this neighborhood. 16-year-old, the name killed in. It's like every day. So what we're asking them to do in Chicago and Baltimore is to do the same thing. Does your child have a gun? Have you woken up at 1:45 when they're asleep and check their bags, check everything? You might have a killer in your house. You might have a killer at the dinner table. Same thing. Does your child use drugs? Check their bags, smell their body. All those kids that were going to what's the name of that area in Lagos that I talked about in the NDA last year? Somewhere near Agege. The children come back from school and they're smelling of marijuana, but their parents didn't know. Nobody really pointed, until like 2 and 2 became 4. They're going to smoke in abandoned buildings, then they go home. So their uniform, this one kid will take off his uniform and start washing it and put it on the wire so that it doesn't smell and wear it the next day. So these are things we have to look up. That's what I wanted to say. It works, Dr. Abdullahi. It really works when you start interrogating the children themselves. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Let's take one more contribution and then we'll be wrapping up this conversation today. So let's have, before Dr. Abdullahi will then deliver his closing remarks. So let's have Flames. Flames, please go ahead. Let's listen to you.
Good day, everyone. I've heard about the effects, the method which would be set in place to curb drug abuse in this digital age, and I would love to just add a little to it. The other speaker has spoken about awareness in school, communities. I think a little should be done when it comes to community, like for coppers, it could be part of the community services, because I barely see a lot of these awareness done in communities around here. I schooled here in the eastern part of the country, and I will tell you, for up to 5 years I've been here, there's nothing like awareness on drug abuse. There's nothing like that, not even from the school, nothing from the school or from coppers or anybody around. Like, it's very, very, very rare for we to see something like that, and that's very, very concerning. The speaker also talked about social media. I think as much as he has mentioned a lot of influencers are promoting it, I think it's also good that we use them also to curb this drug abuse by turning around the topic which is not allowing them promoting it, by letting them create awareness of on the effect of drug abuse, and we could create short videos on TikToks and probably ads on effect of drug abuse. Probably because I think TikTok is one platform that a lot of these youths go on frequently, and if they can see 1 or 2 videos like that every day popping up on this platform, it could send a message right into them, even if they are not aware of it. Like, it can still send the message to them as it's popping up. They're seeing it unconsciously. The message is sinking into them. And I also just want to say something. I want to talk about solutions to curbing of this drug abuse. We know that a lot of kids these days are abusing drugs, but I would have taken the time to look at the reasons why they are abusing these drugs. I think if we look at the reasons why they are abusing these drugs and try to create a solution to it, probably if not completely, but just at least try to create 1 or 2 solutions to it, probably to help in and reducing this drug abuse. It's not enough telling an individual not to abuse drugs or the effect of abusing the drug, but also creating a solution to what has made them to start abusing these drugs. Probably, let's say, for example, a student might be going through depression, probably through academics or something like that, or probably it's monetary issue, or just there are diverse reasons why people abuse drugs. If we, as an institution or as a people, can create a solution to most of these problems that is leading them into abusing drugs, I think it will be a very, very good way in curbing drug abuse in this digital world. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much there. Flames, quite a lot of valid points there, especially your last point, that is addressing the causative for predisposing. It's an excellent contribution. Thank you very much. Those are also
Thank you.
Issues we have brought on board to discuss, and that has to do, again, it's a whole of government, it's a whole of society approach, especially for that reason. I'll tell you that we've had to set up state drug control committees, local government committees, community drug control committees, to ensure that some of the predisposing factors are addressed at those levels. Predisposing factors, quite a number of them. Time may not permit us to start addressing them again. Ola, just if you want to contribute, just 10 seconds, because the next thing I would have done now is to invite Dr. Make his closing remarks. But Ola, Tom, please just make your contribution in 10 seconds. Thank you.
Yes, sir, I'm very sorry, sir. Thank you. I wanted to make a note on what Dr. Olu said, like reaching out to the families. Like, it's very, very important. I believe, and I've seen cases where you find a kid doing these vices, and you reach out to the parents, and the parents try to cover it up. So I think it's a really intense measure that we should be looking at. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much there. Phyllis, 10 seconds. Phyllis, if you can make your contributions in 10 seconds. Okay, Phyllis is not ready. Bad, corrupt government in 10 seconds. Is it possible? Quickly. All right, please, Dr. Abdullah, you can then go ahead and let's wrap up with your closing remarks, and then we'll wrap up this conversation for today. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much to the NDLA. Thank you very much, Mr. Femi Babafemi, and you to all our listeners. And we hope people will continue to participate and spread the word. My parting remark will be, there is a direct the devices they buy for them. Some of them might be using it for purposes other than what it was intended. And for parents to have a good return on what they are investing in their children, they must be interested in knowing what they are doing, beyond just providing, financial resources for them. It is important that we keep from drugs. About that, we should keep them away from drugs. We should ensure that they stay focused on their other important activities in their life. We should ensure that we don't only provide material present in their life. We should know what they are doing. We should guide them until they are able to understand what is good for them and what is not good for them. So thank you very much as we continue to have this conversation and see how we can shape the future of our children. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much once again, Dr. Abdullah Abdul Wahab Yakubu. He's been with us in the last 2 hours, and it's been a very, very, very excellent conversation. We'd like to appreciate Dr. Abdullah is a consultant psychiatrist at the Ahmadu Bello University. Essentially, Dr. Abdullah is of many parts, but principally a consultant psychiatrist at the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital. Is a lecturer at the Ahmadu Bello University also, and also importantly for us is the fact that he's the founder and chief executive officer of Excel Mental Health Foundation. He's been a major stakeholder in all our efforts, in all our activities. We appreciate you. Thank you very much, Dr. Abdullah. Thank you for everyone that has contributed. Dr. Kemi Odunloyo, who has been on sabbatical, and he's back with us to take on some new issues related to drug abuse and the environment. Thank you very much, Dr. Kemi Odunloyo. We also appreciate Dr. James Komolafe. Dr. James Komolafe has also been a very strong expert in CBT. Thank you very much, Dr. James Komolafe there. We also have contributions from Dr. Suraj Abdulkadir. Thank you, Dr. Suraj, for your time and contribution. Also, Kwangshat Benjamin, thank you very much for also your question, for your intervention there. We also have some contributions, important contributions from Ogbeni Oluwole. Thank you very much, Ogbeni Oluwole, as well as Olaton. Thank you very much. And I think the last contribution came from Flames. Very importantly, also Flames introduced another dimension to the conversation. We'd like to appreciate everyone that has been part of this conversation today, as well as those that have joined us via our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. I would also like to appreciate my colleagues working with me from behind the scene here. That's Rita, Musa Francis, Mahmoud Dele, Philemon, Neta, Peace. Who else is there? Inyobong, Ebon, and the rest. Victor also in Lagos. Thank you very much, everyone. We appreciate your efforts and all that you have been doing. Until we come your way again next Friday, please note that we do this every Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. And by next week, by the grace of God, we will be coming with another topic and another special guest. Join us. Most likely, it will be Dr. Kevin and the team of the upper week, but then definitely know that we'll be bringing another interesting issue. It's Friday, yes, as we often say, thank God it's Friday, but please let's note that we should make sure that we take charge of ourselves. Don't let us lose our guard. Don't let us say because it's Friday, we let down our guard for some minutes, and then we live to regret for the years to come. Let's remain well guided. That's it from me. I remain yours sincerely, the host of this conversation, Femi Babafemi. I'll leave you in the hands of my colleague Mahmoud to wrap up and draw the curtain on this space today. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much, sir, Mr. Femi Babafemi, the NDLE's Director of Media and Advocacy, for guiding us throughout today's program. For more information about the agency, our listeners can visit our website www.ndla.gov.ng. Our social media platforms remain at ndla_Nigeria on X, Instagram, YouTube, and Thread. On Facebook, it is at ndla01. Do join us same time next week for another edition of this wonderful program. Bye-bye.
It is very clear the badness wey drug abuse dey cause for we youth body. Make we join hands stop am. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency bring una this message.